So I worked in the NFL, and you tend to walk in a room with some very, very smart people. There's kind of two key things I've learned working at the NFL. Less is more, and keep it simple, stupid. And all the visualization tools I worked with and all the stuff I'd worked with before, it seemed to almost build a culture of not less is more and not keeping it simple, stupid. So when you've got to walk into the commissioner's offices and you've got literally 5 minutes to sell them on a project which you want incremental budget for, you need to be able to articulate it in a story, and you need very good visuals to do it. You also don't know when you're going to get that meeting.
Right.
Right? I'm not going to walk in on a Monday and say, oh, Aidan, the commissioner will see you next Friday. It's going to be, Aidan, the commissioner's ready. And you've got to walk down and do that meeting. So what I needed is something that was very visual, very simple, told a story, and that I could have ongoing and just quickly download to a PowerPoint, walk into that office and we go, this is why you need to invest in this, commissioner. Right. And this is what we'll do for you.
What kind of executive awareness have you been able to get? How do you get that executive awareness? What's the process there to be effective?
If you're doing one of those three things in terms of the relative advantage, it's actually easy. And our executive awareness is at the highest levels. Once we got our first, we took a fail-fast approach to it. Reed Hastings calls it jumping off the cliff and building the plane on the way down kind of thing. And we did that a little bit. And once we got the first version out, we took it to the chair of news and said, all right, here's how you're going to get your reporting. And she's like, no more emails? Like, no more emails. Like, it'll update as a ratings update. It'll update as a ratings update. Like, wow, we got to go show this to Steve. And Jay could talk about it now because I came off of a meeting and called me and said, all right, you got a day and a half. We're in the executive committee showing Steve Burke, the CEO of NBC Universal, and every one of his direct reports in his heads, the new Domo dashboards. You got a day and a half. Be ready. He's like, I'll do it. And then you work 24 hours straight to get them all ready and up and running. But it's, and from there, it just kind of takes on a life of its own. If it creates an advantage, people will want it. You won't have to push it. People will just adopt it.
There is no data without humans. We make it. And more and more and more and more and more, it's about us, and it's changing us. And so let's discard this term big data. I'd be happy to never heard this term again. What I want to hear in its place is I want to hear about human data. What does it mean to think about data in a human context? And how can we treat data with humanity? And this is what visualization has always been about. It's been about bringing humans closer to data. And if we think about it in that way, it gives us a different language for understanding why it is we do what we do. And rather than the promise that was once the case with air travel, this beautiful human ability, we are humans, we can fly. Look what we ended up with. We ended up with one of the most terrible human experiences possible. So let's try to rethink data and think not how can we end up with airports in the way that they imagine right now, but how can we end up with something that is more fundamentally wonderful? Because data and the things that it offers us are fundamentally wonderful, but only if we approach them in the right ways. Thank you.